back at it again with the dead face. Why do I always look dead? It's because I don't wear makeup. When I don't wear makeup, I look dead. I love that none of these have intros. None of these are me explaining what I'm gonna do. But I'm basically watching a movie and reacting to it without actually showing the movie. Just because I feel like it's fun and it kind of, it's giving my, I usually don't like react like something happens and I'll be like, oh, no, like I'll kind of be guessing along what's gonna happen and then at the end be like, oh, it did leave me perplexed or it didn't work or, oh no, it was just a bad movie. So I'm gonna watch Fractured and let's see how it goes. It's not a horror movie, but it's kind of like a scary, it's like that, what's that actress who like she's in an airplane and her daughter just disappears. I think that's kind of like that same concept of like a kid. There's another one with the redhead that her kid is like, it involves aliens and stuff. I don't remember it, but yeah. So let's see. You know, you don't know what's going on. It could be that he's insane. It could be that, oh yeah, they're like human trafficking and they're stealing the kid and the wife. Wow, I'm actually, you know, I should do this. I should like guess what's gonna happen and then see which one's happening. That's what I did with the other one. Well, kind of. So I think it's either the cliche route, which is he's insane and he made up his family, which would be a cop-out. Human trafficking, that they're gonna like take the girl's organs and they're like, oh, they probably didn't know he existed. And so it's not weird to just make it seem like he's insane and be like, oh. So I think it's gonna be like human trafficking, like you're gonna need the little girl's organs, so, or something like that. Or I feel like the most plausible is just human trafficking, because why else would you steal a human, you know, from a hospital? I think it's human trafficking. I'm gonna go with human trafficking. Literally the first 6 seconds and it's like we've learned so much. So he's either a recovering alcoholic or like, you know, he used to be an alcoholic, because he's talking about how his in-law was offering him wine when he knows that he can't. So I think he's like, he used to be an alcoholic. And we have like a problem marriage because she's like, why aren't you who you used to be? And he's like, I am. And I think it's because obviously before with the alcohol maybe he was someone else and now he's more like reserved and more chill and he's trying to be more controlled. You can even see it when he's driving the speed limit and people are honking at him and trying to pass him. It's because I think he used to be a wild child and now he's like trying really hard to go by the rules. And so I think that's kind of like, yeah. And the girl, she's just chilling. She's just like, I want to have my headphones, I want to listen to music while you guys argue. But yeah, it's already starting off the fact that they don't have the greatest marriage, and she's already like kind of given up. She's like, it's broken, so why bother? So the fighting literally made him relapse. Like he literally bought 2 bottles of alcohol instead of buying the kids' batteries. Like, this man is tripling before my eyes, and I'm so sad for him because he's trying so hard, and it just, Dude, this man is a total adrenaline junkie. Like, he has to pass a bunch of cars, right? And the wife is like telling him to go faster and faster, faster, and then she yells at him, but whatever. And he's smiling. Like, he tried so hard to keep his life like very down low, very, you know, cool. Like, I'm collected, I drive the speed limit, but he's a wild child. He was a wild child because he's smiling as he's like flooring the car. So I see you. He was crazy back then. I take it back. Now I take it back. Now I think he's just crazy because when he was passed out on the floor, he was saying like, Mr. Monroe, we lost them, we can't do anything about it. And now his wife is super like confrontational with him. Like, he asks her like, what do you want me to do? Go get a doctor and drag him out? And she's like, yes, do something. So I think he's just imagining them. I think they're dead. I don't think they're real. If not, then she's just like an asshole wife. But okay, now I have no idea if he's actually crazy because other people are seeing them too. Like, there's a nurse who's seen her, and apparently she apologized for yelling at him. So I don't think he's crazy. Along like how I think they're actually real. They exist. He apparently had an ex-wife who died, but like, they exist because most people have seen them and talked to them and mentioned them directly. So, but obviously it's human trafficking. Has to be. Like, he's noticing like people like, you know, an assistant, well, like the receptionist being like, oh, we have a 12-year-old who's O positive, and now someone else called being like, oh, we have a 6-year-old who's O positive. Oh wait, no, they don't know her blood type, but they're like, she's a 6-year-old, and they're asking. Rude. And they're asking if she wants to be an organ donor, and she's like 6 years old. And I mean, I know that's a thing, but like, why would you ask for organ donation when she just broke her arm? Now shut up. And then he's looking at birds. I'm very confused. I'm confused. This movie has confused me.
Kirkbride serves 3 counties. 8 years ago. Why didn't you tell me what happened?
Okay, so it's been hours since those clips, since I watched the movie. I was like, I'm gonna work out, I'm gonna have dinner, I'm gonna, take a shower and just reflect on the movie. And I didn't record anymore because my dad came, and I wasn't gonna be like recording in front of my dad, like, no. But that movie, oh my god, like, I watched yesterday, Eli, right? Plot twist of a movie. But this one, like, oh my god. Obviously, spoilers. But, like, okay, no, I don't know if I should talk about the plot holes first. No, you know what? Let's talk about. His name is Sam. I have no idea what that actor's name is. But the main dude, he's such an amazing actor. I cried, like, full on, bawling my eyes out because I felt his emotions. I felt him on how, like, just how no one believed him, and how he was like, it was so. And then, oh my god, the shot where they show that the fact that his first wife died in a car crash while she was pregnant. Dude. And like, oh my god, like, oh my, like, he's like such an amazing, like, I was like, maybe I have a wife and kids. Like, he's such an amazing actor. Like, this movie was just like, I know he's been in other movies like Avatar, but this one, like, the level of, like, I was blown away. So, okay, so during the whole movie, I genuinely thought there was, like, a human trafficking thing, and it was not at all. It really did not see that coming. But okay, so plot holes. So he imagined the white bear, right, that they give the daughter. He imagined that white bear because then he finds that white bear in the trash down below for some reason, unless we assume that he's hallucinating it, because they do show that he hallucinates the dead body to be his daughter, so maybe it's just a hallucination. But then why did the nurse, like, why did the call sheet end up in the dumpster? And why were all the nurses so paranoid? Unless we're seeing this all through his eyes. So, but I don't know, because, like, all the nurses were very, like, they were acting all shady. And even the doctor I don't even remember his name, Abraham, who knows, the doctor who went home and who wasn't on call anymore, why was he acting so shady? Why was he, like, taking so long to answer this man's question, being like, oh yeah, you did come here by yourself? Like, what? No normal human talks like that. They just say, oh yeah, I saw you this early, you came here for head trauma. And what? They were all literally, like, it was like if they were feeding into his, like, psychosis, because they were all acting so shady. And I was so happy when the cops, like, actually believed him. I was like, yes, because usually in those movies no one believes the person. So I was like, oh my god, they believe him. But yeah, that was really weird. Like, everyone was acting super, super shady for us, like a red herring. Like, the nurses did not care. Maybe it's just to show, like, oh, medicine is, like, not medicine, what's it called? Like, this hospital is just not user friendly. I don't know, because all the nurses are mean. They're not nice. They do not care. It's just, like, they put so much issue and problems of not wanting to show him this, like, the film in the hallways. And the thing when we see him all the way, like, what was real, what was not, what was a plot hole, like, why didn't they check his car? Why didn't they, like, this whole thing of he thinking that he made this up? At one point they even asked, like, oh, is your wife still alive? Like, why don't they call his in-laws? They could have just said, like, oh yeah, he was with them, he came here and they left. They were just so, like, what era was this sent in? Like, you're telling me you don't have a smartphone with your photos of your wife and kid on Thanksgiving? And what was so sad is that this whole movie, like, you see at the beginning that he's a recovering, like, alcoholic, right? And that the first time he was, well, there was no more than one time, but he was an alcoholic, and he lost his wife and unborn baby, right? And then this whole time you're like, this poor man. And the thing is, when he falls down into that pit, you're like, why is he standing there? Why did he hear, like, oh my god, Mr. Monroe, we lost them? So I was like, oh, they, I don't know how, but they died. But then I was like, what? And then it was played so well. So well. Like, I was shook. I never used that expression, but I was shook when they showed how his wife died and how this whole entire thing was his brain so fractured from the fact that because of his mistake at the beginning of his life, let's say beginning of his life, his wife and newborn unborn baby died, and then flash forward 10 years with his other wife and his other daughter, and then his daughter accidentally dies. You know, just a tragic accident. From what we can tell, just a tragic accident that she falls, and then another tragic accident because he just pushes her away and she just falls. Like, he didn't murder them, he just accidentally he didn't even kill the first one. He accidentally killed his wife, but his daughter fell, and obviously she was gonna, like, and the worst thing is that even in my mind I was like, well, maybe she didn't, like, yeah, she probably just, you know, broke her arm. Like, freak accidents happen like that. But I was so like, huh, what? And the thing is, like, yeah, there were parts where, like, he's talking and people, like, there's a scene where he's like talking with his wife, and the wife just yells at him, and then everyone just stares and smiles at him, and it's like, what the heck is happening? So that's where you're like, oh, okay, so he is reacting to his wife like this because their marriage wasn't okay. His wife was sometimes a little bit, like, angry, so that's why he's seeing it like that. And it was so weird when the daughter, when he, like, she's gonna, like, go and get the CAT scan, the daughter's like, you did good, Dad. That was, like, so out of, like, I was like, what? And now I get it. It's because he, in his mind, was trying to compensate for the fact that his daughter was dead. And I was like, oh my god. And it sent me in a roller coaster of emotions, like the tears, the, like, the what, like, I was, like, rooting for him. I was like, oh my god, yes, you know, all these creepy, suspicious people who just don't want to give him a straight answer. And I, like, yes, I get it, that's, like, the red herring, but, like, why were they acting so shady? Why were they, like, they were acting shady. And the psychologist, I have no idea, like, just pressuring him to be like, you murdered your wife, and I'm like, he accidentally did. And then, oh my, this, it's so heartbreaking. Like, it's so heartbreaking, the scene where he, like, thinks he saved them, and that, you know, they're a-okay, and he's, like, putting him in the car, which I'm guessing he's gonna get arrested because, you know, they have his full name, they have his ID, like, he's, you know, he's not going far. And he steals what he thinks is, like, his wife and daughter, and then he's rescuing them. And it's a freaking dead body of someone else, who knows what. And it's, and then his actual wife and daughter are in the back trunk, like, in, you know, in the trunk area. And it's, like, the saddest thing because you see at the beginning of the movie, the wife is like, you don't do enough. Like, you need to, like, we aren't who we used to be, and you don't fight anymore, and you don't fight for us. And then the whole movie, it's him fighting so hard, and like, literally, 10 out of 10. I know there's plot holes, and there's stupid red herrings, and there's, like, why did these characters act shady, like, what, but still, his process, his, like, whole entire thing, I believed it till the last minute, until they showed. I believed the whole thing. I was like, yep, this is an undercover organ trafficking thing. And, like, oh my, I've never been, in such a long time, I've not been this bamboozled in a movie. Like, usually it's like an Eli plot twist where you're like, what? But this one, where I was completely convinced that his wife and daughter were kidnapped, like, I believed him, and I cried when he, like, was like, why don't you believe me? Because I was just like, oh my, because that's, like, your worst fear. Well, and, like, it's kind of a big fear, you know, that you that no one believes you, that you know of of an occurrence or something happening, and people being like, oh no, you're lying, and then you're trying so hard for people to believe you. And that's why I was so happy when the cops believed him. And then when they found like the blood, I was like, huh, what? And even then, I still believed him. I was still like, oh well, he did lose a lot of blood, and like, I believed him literally until the last scene when we see him like driving away, when they do the whole reveal. Then I was like, oh my god. Not even before, when they're like, the cadaver dogs, or the missing person dogs, are like blood, the compact mirror. Not even then was I like, no. He's such a great actor. Like, I felt like I felt like I had lost my wife and my child. Like, it was like you could see his desperation, his anguish. Like, I'm just blown away by this movie. Like, if you haven't watched this movie, well, why are you watching this video? Because I spoiled the whole entire thing. But this movie is not the best. You know what? Yeah, it's the best movie that I've watched this month. Literally. Like, I'm blown away. I'm genuinely blown away. Like, I am so happily blown away, and I'm like so here for it. Like, I just did not expect it. Did not expect it at all. It made me so happy, and so like, because I love when movies do that to you, when you're like, oh yeah, this is definitely this way, and they make a plot twist that does make sense, even, like I said, even when it has red herrings, dumb red herrings, and like shady people. Even then, it does make sense, but you just are so convinced by this father and everything that you're just like, you ignore all the things that make him a little bit suspicious, because like, why is he paying so much attention to other like people? Why is he the only one listening, hearing people talk about O positive? Like, so everything that he did by himself, he rewrote in his brain to put his wife in as well. Blown away. Blown away. Like I said, there's plot holes in there. Like, I'm not gonna say that there isn't, they are. But overall, man, this blown away. Okay, so yeah, I enjoy this movie a lot. I'm so glad I watched it, because I wasn't going to, because just by the trailer I was like, oh, it's gonna be another one of the movies with that lady that I forgot. Jodie Foster, is it? I have no idea. Where her daughter is like, she gets abducted on a plane, and the same thing happens, except in this case, no one believes her, and it's like, how did no one see the child? And in that one, the kid is alive. But yeah, it's like, I did not that's why with the trailer I thought it was gonna be something like that, and then you see her carrying her, and then it all just makes sense. It all makes sense. But anyways, I hope if you watch this, I'm gonna assume that you also watched the movie. So I hope you enjoyed it as much as I do, because it was the best movie I have watched in a long time. I'm so excited, because it was like, because like I said, Eli was an interesting movie, but the plot twist was kind of like, huh? This one was a good huh. This one was like, I was shocked, my jaw dropped. My parents who watched it without me were like, because I was telling my mom, because my mom loves to spoil movies, and I was like, no, do not spoil this one to me. I want to watch it entirely with no spoilers. But yeah, it was a wild ride, and I'm so glad that I got in the car with Pegasus and Alex. So yeah, that's all. I'm still in awe of that movie. Like, literally, I'm gonna recommend that movie to everyone, just like everyone that I know, even strangers. I'll be like, have you watched Fractured on Netflix? You should watch it. That's just gonna be me for this. Wait, no, it's almost over this month. Well, still, for this month, I said I was gonna watch In the Tall Grass, so I think I'm gonna watch that next. Because that one's like a scary horror movie, and it's with that actor that I love, that he plays Ed Warren. So yeah, I had fun watching this movie. I'm so happy. So yeah, bye.